oh Jesus, I'm scared to ask this. I'm scared to unmute this dude after because of his name.
Well, don't. If it's on optical, don't do it because I'm streaming.
Okay, well, full send around here these parts, boys. Let's just say if you say something stupid, I'm gonna mute you, and then I will bully you. All right. Thought Buster.
That's not bad.
69.
All
What's
right.
up?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, dope. So thank you for having me on here. Thank you for unmuting me. So I just recently became pro-life. Like about like a month and a half ago, I was like a libertarian who was like personally pro-life, politically pro-choice, but then like I started listening to like other like political people like Nick Fuentes. So I'm proud to say I'm pro-life now. So thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. But my question, thank you. I appreciate that. But my question now is I'm trying to like educate myself on like the pro-life movement because I'm proud to say I'm pro-life now. But I know a lot of people will probably agree, but like the abortionists, like assuming that like Roe v. Wade gets overturned and like abortion's made illegal, like assuming that a woman decides to get an abortion and the abortion is conducted and the woman is found out, I think we all agree the abortionist should get sent to prison for murder because I mean it's fucking murder. But what should be done with the woman who got the abortion like conducted on her?
Jail.
You know, there's something, isn't there a law accessory to murder or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somewhere along that lines.
Yeah.
Because if it is a rule, a law, it's illegal, you're breaking the law. So obviously there's gonna be some what? Hey, for anyone holding up their screen up to the their phone up to the screen, it's backwards, my guy. Just trying to, yeah. All right, but yeah, no, if you're breaking a law of some sort, I think it could possibly, if it's at that stage, be along the lines of accessory to murder or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, from my perspective, I think like the main purpose of the pro-life movement is to like convince women and show them why abortion is wrong and why it's mentally, it's morally reprehensible and it's a terrible thing. And I think that should be like what the pro-life movement should be based on. But I do still think the women should be held accountable. So, like you said, I definitely think that accessory to murder, something like that. I think again, the abortionist should be like tried for murder, but I'm still trying to educate myself on this kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you.
I actually do have a question about abortion. In a situation, I don't know if it's different for the pro-life movement because I'm really uneducated on the pro-life movement. Is there any situation where abortion would be legal? I'm super confused about that.
The only exception, I mean, for me, the only exception should be when the woman's life is in danger. I know some people believe in like the rape exception and the incest exception. I don't believe in either of those. Okay, just because something terrible happened to you doesn't make the value of the life inside the womb any less valuable, regardless of what happened to you. There's still like a life living in the womb, and the baby's life still matters regardless. So again, I think the only time abortion should be allowed is when the woman's life is in danger, but I don't think anybody considers that to be abortion. So
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Also, real quick, on a side note, it has nothing to do with this. Jaden, whoever in your chat called me a fat ass, it's fatty. I'm thick with 5 C's.
I'm not even watching chat. I apologize. They'll be banned. They will be banned.
Whoever is in there.
How do we
Sheriff,
you hear that, chat? You hear that? Fatty's gonna beat your ass.
I have a phrase I use quite often, and a lot of people know it. Look, I kill you. I don't care. I will go 25 years of life. I've lived a good 19 years on this earth. I know where I'm going when I die. So I kill you. I don't care. All right.
Based. Is it cool if I ask one more question? I know like I'm allowed to ask one, but I want one for I want to ask a question for Nick. So Nick, I started watching your show a few months ago. I really like it. You're doing good stuff, Nick. So I like all the work you do.
Thank you.
I've been watching some of your debates, and I know you mentioned that in high school you used to be a libertarian, and so I'm kind of curious, like, what was there like a specific event or like something that pushed you to being from a libertarian to being a paleo conservative? Like, what made you want to become a paleocon?
Well, it was sort of a culmination of events during the election, but The biggest thing to me is that when I was in high school, I was a libertarian. And the reason why is because the economics of it made sense to me, and I still largely believe in a lot of the economic principles. And even things like free trade, like my understanding of free trade hasn't changed in the sense that, free trade is going to create like short-term benefit or whatever, but just looking at it from a different angle about producers and consumption versus production and balance of payments. Anyway, so what I always thought though when I was libertarian is I could never answer this for myself. I would say to myself, why is liberty the highest governing principle? I always would say, well, it's about individual liberty, and individual liberty is great because it's our maximizing our economic potential, blah, blah, blah. But I could never answer for myself morally why liberty was the highest principle. And when I got to college, and the more that I saw what was happening with immigration and voting patterns, like I got really into the election, and I don't know if I could go through all of this quickly, but my first realization was the relationship between media and government. I said, the media is so controlled and it's so left wing that no matter who's going to be president from the Republican ticket, out of all the candidates, they're going to have a really hard time because the media is controlling everything. I said, so initially I went from Ted Cruz, a constitutionalist, to Donald Trump, not even because I like Donald Trump's policies, but because I said he can fight back against the media. So there's sort of like this institutional consciousness that, maybe Trump isn't with me on the policies, but he can fight the media, and you need that in a president. And then I saw the voting patterns, and I would look at the different states and say, okay, how is Trump going to get to 270? What's the map going to look like? And I looked at state after state, and the problem that I was seeing, it was the demographics. I looked at a graphic on poll, and it said, here's if only white people voted, here's if only blacks voted, here's if only women voted, et cetera. And the only map where Donald Trump is winning is the white man map, not the women map, not the black map, not the whatever. And I said, well, I know that the Republican policies are the ones that work fiscally and every other way. Like Democrat policies are insane. So the only people that are getting it right are the white people. So something has to be done about immigration just for that. If we want to fight for life and for our rights and for economic liberty and so on, we need to shut down immigration. And then I went to college. This is the last thing. I went to college, and I was just exposed to so many leftists. Like I went to this Antifa march the night before the inauguration, and there was this huge black bloc going down the street, smashing cars, like threatening people. And just some guy came up to me. I was wearing a MAGA hat, and he said, we're going to string you up from a lamppost. And we almost got in a big fight. And I realized in that moment, just seeing that march and thinking about leftists, it's particularly about women, actually. I said, you look at these screaming banshee leftist women, and facts and logic aren't going to win these people over. You're not going to debate these people out of their positions. And Antifa, you're not going to sit them down and explain to them the Laffer curve and everything. At a certain point, these people have to just be put in jail. These people that are just going through the streets and destroying stuff, they just have to be arrested. And my realization fundamentally was we are not going to win the culture war by having arguments. At a certain point, we have to win over enough people that we could gain power and then use power to achieve our interests. And then, that those realizations along the way basically just made me very skeptical of the idea of liberty, of democracy, of republicanism. It really made more sense to me that we need a politics that's driven by goals and interests than really by principles. We want to just make the country good. We want people to be virtuous. We want them to be safe. We want to design a system that is enduring. And those objectives, overriding them all, being order, they supersede the need for liberty. Because if we bank it all on liberty right now, it's all going to go away. We won't even live in a safe or a democratic or an equal country. We're just going to live in chaos. So first you need order, and then comes the other stuff. And that was the realization. I know that was kind of long, but because I was a serious libertarian. All these people that are telling me, I've been watching on TikTok, they're talking about Bastiat and Rousseau and Hobbes and Locke and John Adams and Milton Friedman. I've read all that. Thomas Sowell, I've read all that. I've watched all that. I'm over it. I thought it was the end all be all when I was in high school. But then, I read more books. I read Burke, I read de Maistre, I read, illiberal types, and then I came full circle. So.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely I'm in my senior year of high school right now. And going to my senior year, I was also a libertarian. But, after watching your show, I'm I think this guy makes a lot of good points because I noticed that the conservative movement's definitely becoming they're definitely sitting more to the left, because like 10 years ago, gay marriage was a big thing, and now you have people like Charlie Kirk and Rob Smith that are like pro gay marriage and everything. And so it definitely made me start thinking. And so I think the thing that I've got the most from your streams are like condoning and platforming degeneracy only breeds further degeneracy. And I think that's definitely something I've learned. So I appreciate all the work you do. You're doing good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.